I'm going to show you 3 tech gadgets that save myself at least 10 hours a week, every single week. And that's not an exaggeration. The first device right here costs me $5 and saves me about 4 hours a week by helping me with procrastination. If you're struggling with procrastination, you're going to want to see this. The second device costs me $50 and saves me about 2 hours a week and has genuinely changed my life. Again, no exaggeration, you'll know exactly what I mean very soon. And the third device cost me $500, which is quite expensive, but I've been using it every day for 18 months and I calculated over 18 months, it saved me 183 hours. 183 hours! So let's say hypothetically, very hypothetically, my time is worth $100 an hour. I've just saved myself $18,300. Suddenly, spending $500 on it doesn't sound that much. Now, the first device costs exactly $5 and saves me about 4 hours every week by eliminating the productivity killer that most people don't even realize is destroying their focus. So years ago, I was that person who would sit down to work and 3 hours later, realize I'd accomplished almost nothing. So I'd start working, I'd check my phone, then remember I needed to reply to an email, then somehow end up browsing through YouTube and then Facebook, and hours went by and I wouldn't get anything done. The problem wasn't that I didn't know about time management techniques. I'd heard about the Pomodoro technique, so work for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, but using my phone as the timer was destroying any chance of success. Every time I'd set a timer on my phone, I'd see notifications or I'd finish a work session and immediately start scrolling instead of taking a proper break. Now, this dedicated timer solved that problem completely. If I ever feel like I'm not really in the mood to work, then I go to my desk regardless, I set the timer for 25 minutes and something psychological happens. My brain knows that for the next 25 minutes, there's one job. Focus on the task in front of me. No emails, no social media, no random internet browsing. But then it's like, okay, why have a dedicated timer? Why not just use the timer on your phone? And I don't know about you, but when I'm working on my laptop and I need to focus, the last thing I want is my phone right next to me staring at me, because all it takes is a split second before I'm picking it up and doom scrolling again. So I always put my phone behind my laptop so it's out of sight, out of mind. The timer on this has a silent mode too, which is perfect for working in coffee shops or libraries or shared spaces. The display still shows when your session is finished, but you won't annoy everyone around you with constant beeping. But here's the real secret. You can train your attention span with this thing. So if you're someone who struggles to focus for long periods, don't start with 25 minutes, start with 10 minutes, then increase to 25-minute blocks, then 20-minute blocks, then full 25-minute blocks. It's kind of like going to the gym for your brain. Most people think they have a short attention span, but really, they just need to train it. Now, the difference this has made to my productivity is pretty impressive. Now, before this timer, I'd have these kind of long, unfocused work sessions where I'd feel busy, but not actually accomplish much. Now, I get more done in 3 focused 25-minute sessions than I used to in my entire morning of distracted work. Now, those 4 hours I save each week come from eliminating the constant task switching and phone checking that used to fragment my workday into useless chunks. And this productivity timer, it has 6,865 reviews on Amazon, averaging 4.5 out of 5, so it really can't be that bad. I've also added an Amazon link in the description below to this specific model if you do want to check it out. It is actually very affordable. Mia, come and say hi to everyone then. Now, this device genuinely changed my life, and it's not exaggeration, it's made me so much more productive. So let me explain. I've made over 500 YouTube videos on how to be more productive, and the bottom line is, productivity isn't necessarily about managing your time. It's more about managing your energy. You can have the best time management systems in the world, but if you feel tired, if you feel sluggish and mentally foggy, you're not going to get anything meaningful done. On the flip side, when you feel energetic, when you feel sharp and physically strong, naturally, you're going to be so much more productive. Meaning, If you look after yourself, you sleep 8 hours a day, you eat healthily every day, you exercise every day, you're going to be far more productive. So I bought these scales about 1 year ago and I weighed in at 79 kilograms. So for context, I'm 183 centimeters. So I wasn't exactly fat, but let's just say I didn't have a six pack. And this is a smart scale, so it automatically syncs to an app on my phone. So every morning when I weigh myself, it logs on the graph showing my progress over time. Now, this daily feedback loop became incredibly powerful for staying on track with my health goals. Bottom line is, I started eating healthily and exercising more because I was stepping on these scales every morning and seeing if my weight was going up and seeing if my weight was going down. Obviously, if it started creeping up, I would adjust my nutrition and bring it back down again. And after just 4 weeks, I lost 3 kilograms. I dropped from 79 to 76 kilograms and maintained that weight. It was massively visible. I looked so much better, but I also started waking up feeling more alert. I could focus for longer periods without that kind of afternoon energy crash. And I just felt more motivated to tackle tasks that I needed to get done that day. Honestly, a lot of it was because I just cut out all the junk food that was making me have those energy slumps in the afternoon. And I also increased my exercise. I started training for triathlons, marathons, and having that goal to work towards when training has been huge for me, as opposed to just kind of going to the gym every day with no end goal or no target in mind. So I've had these scales for, I'd say, just over a year now, and I'm feeling so much healthier and so much more productive. My weight is still maintaining around 74, 75 kilograms, which is, for my height at least, a very healthy weight. The scale tracks other metrics too, like body fat percentage, muscle mass, hydration levels. I honestly ignore most of these because I'm not sure how accurate they are, but the simple act of stepping on the scale each morning creates accountability that is very difficult to ignore. Because at the end of the day, you can't improve what you don't measure. Without tracking, it's incredibly easy to kind of gain weight gradually without realizing it's happening. The daily data gives you immediate feedback that stops weight gain before it becomes a bigger problem. But I feel like what makes this particularly powerful for productivity is the psychological effect, right? So when you see your weight trending downwards over weeks and months, it creates this positive momentum that carries over into your other areas of your life. So you can start thinking, okay, if I can be disciplined about my health, I can be disciplined about my work too. And the 2 hours I save weekly come from having so much more energy, particularly in the afternoon, like 1, 2, 3 p.m. Because before, when I was eating a lot of junk food, my energy levels would just crash and like I would be napping for 1, 2 hours every single afternoon. Now I don't need to nap anywhere near as much. I maintain steady energy from morning to evening. Honestly, one of the best things I've ever bought, and it seems quite a few others agree. On Amazon, it's averaging 4.6 out of 5 reviews with 440 reviews. I'll drop an Amazon link to this specific model that I have in the description below if you do want to check this out for yourself. Now, on to the $500 gadget that has probably saved me more time than anything else. So it's a robot vacuum that also mops, and it saves me over 4 hours every single week. So I have pets, as you can see. I have 3 cats and a dog, and they shed constantly. Before getting my robot vacuum, I was spending about 20 minutes every day sweeping and mopping my floors. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but 20 minutes every day adds up to about 2 hours per week. Now, my floors get vacuumed and mopped every morning at 6:15 a.m. while I'm still sleeping. I wake up to perfectly clean floors without having to think about it or spend any time on it. There's something very satisfying about waking up to a clean apartment floor every day. It kind of sets this positive tone where you feel on top of things before you've even had your first coffee. And this kind of eliminates the mental drain of having cleaned the floors constantly on my to-do list. So before buying the robot vacuum, I spent weeks researching different models because $500 is not a small amount of money, but also robot vacuums vary dramatically in capabilities and price, right? So the cheaper versions, they don't have mopping functions, and I'm glad I spent extra for the kind of dual functionality. One device handles what would normally require 2 separate cleaning sessions, so a mopping session and a vacuum session. The obstacle avoidance technology is impressive. Early robot vacuums were notorious for getting stuck under furniture or knocking things over, and this one maps your entire apartment or house on the first use, then navigates intelligently around obstacles, and I can run it while working from home, and it's very quiet, or at least quiet enough to not be disruptive. It empties itself too, which was crucial for me. I only need to empty and refill the water tanks about once every 4 days, which takes maybe 2 minutes, right? To just empty the tank into the sink, fill it up, put it back. Without self-emptying features, you'd be dealing with a full dustbin after every cleaning cycle, which I just wasn't too keen on, so that's why I bought the slightly more expensive robot vacuum. And this particular robot vacuum has gotten 587 reviews, averaging 4.4 stars on Amazon, so it seems I'm not the only person that was very pleasantly surprised when I started using it. And after using it for over a year, it still performs exactly like the day I bought it, and it's probably my favorite purchase, or at least one of my favorite purchases in my entire apartment. A robot vacuum, for me at least, is one of those things that once you buy it, you can't ever not have one in your apartment. And as with everything in this video, I have links to the exact products I have listed in the description below. Also, let me know in the comments, what would you recommend is your #1 productivity device or productivity gadget? I'm always looking to streamline my daily workflow even more, so let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, you can click either of these videos to help you save even more hours in your day, and I'll see you over there.